Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, if you've never seen the 5x5 series before, it's one of my favourite videos of the week. The idea is I talk about 5 different subjects, all related to magic. I give myself 5 minutes to talk about each subject. There is a countdown timer at the bottom of the screen. When the countdown reaches 0, I move on to the next topic. It's always quick, it's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. Now, on this 5x5, I'm going to break the rule like I do occasionally. And the first couple of sequences are going to be longer than 5 minutes. And the reason is, one thing that people say they'd really like to see on this channel is live performance footage. And as the world opens up, I'm going to get more live performance footage. And like I said on a Q&A recently, I'm going to be doing more live performances on this channel. Now, this first sequence that you're going to see in a second is a live performance of me doing a routine outside a kind of like an informal private party, and I was doing kind of a stand-up set at the end with loads of people kind of standing around, and I'm doing multiple selection. Now, I haven't really spoken too much on this channel before about multiple selection, but it is really one of my favourite routines to perform, and I do lots of different versions of multiple selections. The one that you're going to see is my favourite, and this particular one uses my tattoo. Now, if you've watched the video on the Q&A playlist of my tattoos, you'll know that this tattoo here is actually designed to use with a multiple selection routine. It's actually my kid's date of birth. Rylan was born on the 12th of November, Thea was born on the 5th of March, but it allows me to do a really nice kicker at the end of a multiple selection. If I force 5 cards, forcing 5 cards with the riffle force also makes it very easy to control them. But if I force 5 cards and then do the multiple selection with 5 cards, I can then have a prediction as a kicker ending. Now, I'm not expecting anyone who's watching this to go and get a tattoo, but I will tell you, predicting the outcome of the multiple selection routine does make a nice kicker ending. It could be that you've got a picture that you hand out to people at the beginning, and you've done the multiple selection, and then you show the picture. It could be that you get yourself a tattoo if you want to. Now, so that's what this routine is. So it's 5 cards, they're picked, they're found in different ways. I kind of always jazz the way that I make the cards appear. It just depends on the crowd. I get the deck to disappear. I do a deck vanish, and then I finish off with this, and it always gets crazy reactions. I've been booked in the past just purely off the basis of this trick. Now, the second sequence you're about to see on the 5x5, so I'm going to play this, and then the second sequence, again, is going to run slightly over 5 minutes, because I'm going to play the same footage back to you again, but this time I'm going to do a commentary track over the top, talking about what I did and why I did it and why I did what I did, because a lot of people, again, on the channel, on the Q&A, they say, hey, I want you to do live performance and then break it down with commentary tracks. And that's what I'm going to try and do more of on the 5x5s as I get live performances. So the first sequence, the first segment is going to be live performance of my multiple selections routine with the tattoo finish, and then the next sequence is going to be the same footage, but it's going to be me doing a commentary track over the top, dissecting what I did and why I did it. So there you go. Without further ado, let's have a look at this first section. Guys, we've got a lot of people here, so I'm going to get a few people picking cards, if that's okay.
Oh, I want some.
Oh, do you? Right, okay. Well, Josh, can you do me a favour? You are going to be official shuffler. So can you give the cards a shuffle? Are you any good at shuffling? No. Then it'll be amusing for everyone that's watching.
I just shuffle.
Give them that's great technique there, Josh. That's amazing. Do me a favour though, when you finish shuffling them, please put them back in the original order. That'd be great. Are we good? That's great. So we're going to get 5 people to pick cards. We'll go, as you shuffled, you can be card number 1. We'll also get you to pick a card. That's 2, 3, 4, and Adam, you can be 5, okay? So, and you're going to be my glamorous assistant. So you stand right here next to me. As I find each card, I'm going to pass them to you. Your job is to keep the cards in order. Can you do that for me?
Okay.
Very good. So, we'll start with Josh. Josh, I'm going to riffle down the deck with my thumb. And as I do, you're going to say stop. Wherever you say stop, that's your card. Okay? So anytime you want to, just say stop. That's great. Near the bottom. Can you remember that card for me?
Yeah.
Very good. Remember it. Please don't forget it, because later on when I dramatically say, this is your card, if you got I don't know, it loses its impact slightly. That's wonderful. Card number 2 is yours. I'm so sorry to wake you. You're going to pick a card as well, so as I go down through the deck, just say stop.
Stop.
That's great. Can you remember that card for me?
I write it down.
Really? Your memory's that bad? Okay, that's fine. No problem. Write it down. Card number 3 is going to be your card, okay? So it's exactly the same thing. Just say stop.
Stop.
Near the top, can you remember that card? Burn it into your mind, not literally, that hurt, but you get the idea. Remember the card. And card number 4 is going to be your card. So just say stop.
Stop.
There you go, and kind of near the bottom. Can you remember that card for me? Very good. If you forget it later, just lie and say yes. It will make me look good. That'd be great. And Adam, last but by no means least, just say stop.
Stop.
Okay. And can you look at that card? And if I look over here, if you could angle your head towards him, I might get the reflection off your forehead. Technical term for that. It's called cheating. Right. Do you remember the card, Adam? You got it?
Yes, got it.
So. I'm joking, sir. It's because he's a Stoke fan. He doesn't even want to shake my hand. I'm not looking you directly in the eyes. I'm not being rude. The light's bouncing off your head. So, I'm allowed to make that joke. Right, here we go. Didn't you? You don't need to. You're my glamorous assistant. Give me a fist bump. Boom. Right, okay, here we go. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to find all 5 cards in order, going backwards, which means I'm starting with you. That doesn't mean you're backwards, it means I'm going in reverse.
Oh my god.
I know, it's so good. Right, we'll start with you. Right, Adam, so to find your card, all I have to do is give the deck a razzle-dazzle cut. It's one of the fancy cuts they use in casinos in America. You take the card, you cut like this, you cut like this, you cut like this. You take the card, you cut like this, like this, like this, like this. Then you give the cards one of these, 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 one of these. Proof positive. I have way too much time on my hands. You know about that. And I've got one card and one card only. That would be the ace of clubs. Would that be your card? Yeah. Yes! See what I mean about the applause starting low at billiards, don't worry. Your card was not the ace of clubs, was it? No. Just snap your fingers over the ace of clubs. Snap. Snap your fingers. Snap. There you go. That's when that card turns into the 2 of hearts. That'd be your reaction. It's freaking out. Right. You hold that. And remember, hold the cards in order, so you need to make sure that the ace of clubs is on top of the... No, the ace is the one behind your ear. Don't forget that one. There you go. Right, your card next. Do you remember your card? Okay, you're gonna find your card yourself. Okay. So I'm gonna go down through the cards. You're gonna say stop. Yeah, wherever you say stop, that's your card. They're going to love you for this. They're going to carry you through the streets of Telford screaming your name. It's going to be like a typical Friday night for you. Okay, so as I go down through the deck anytime you want to, just say stop. No, before I get to the end. I'm very quick. That's why I was single for so many years. I'll do it again. I'll count to 3. I'll start. You say stop. 1, 2, 3. I haven't started yet. I should have picked him. Right. Say stop. Wonderful. Be honest, tell the truth, don't lie. Was your card the 6 of diamonds? No. Then why'd you stop me there? It's fine, it's fine. Watch the 6 of diamonds. Don't blink. Watch that 6. If I just take that 6 and shake it, it turns into the...
No.
That is actual magic.
It's actual magic, exactly. Boom. Right. Your card was next, wasn't it? You picked a card, didn't you? Your card. So I'm going to take 2 cards out the middle. These 2 cards right here. The 2 I'm taking out the middle are the 7, which was Adam's card. The 7 and the king. Now they're not your cards, are they? Watch the 7, watch the king. I did this kind of similar thing earlier on. Watch those 2 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1 card appears in between them, and that would be the 5 of diamonds. Would that be your card?
Yeah, it was.
I'm just guessing that you're freaked out right now, and that's the reaction. I don't know. Right, last one. Josh, do you want me to do this in 1, 2, or 3 seconds? 1. Are you sure? Yeah. Watch the deck. You ready? 1 second. Watch this. 1 second. Did you see it go? No? That's when every single card in the pack disappears, Josh. Leaving 1 card and 1 card. I know. Leaving 1 card and 1 card only. That's But hang on. Because that's not a big enough big finish. Now let's see. We had the ace first. That was who picked the ace? That was you. And then we had the 2. Then we had the jack. Then we had the 5. And then we had the 3. You come here for a second. Can I borrow just 1 second? Take these cards. Hold them like this. Because here's the thing. You shuffled the cards. You picked 5 cards. And I found them with sleight of hand. I then made the deck disappear with sleight of hand. But here's the thing. If I told you 2.5 years ago, I knew what those 5 cards were and I knew the order you picked them. Would you believe me?
No.
So if I could prove that to you, would that be good enough for you guys to go proper mental?
Yeah.
Look, 3 of clubs, 5 of diamonds, jack of spades, 2 of hearts, ace of clubs. I really did know those 5 cards, and I knew the order in which you picked them 2.5 years ago, which is why 2.5 years ago to the day, I made a prediction that's been staring you guys in the face from the very beginning of the act. It's called a tattoo. It's right down my arm.
Oh my God.
And that would be the ace
Oh
of
my
clubs, the 2 of hearts, the jack of spades, the 5 of diamonds, the 3 of clubs. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Right, so first of all, the first thing I want you to note is, and I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but I am completely surrounded. Other than from behind, I'm completely surrounded. So I have to be very careful of my angles the entire time. Now, I really believe that when you're doing this version of multiple selection, it's important to have the deck shuffled, because at the end, I'm going to show that the 5 cards that they picked and the order in which they picked them was predetermined from the beginning using the tattoo. So it's really important that they remember that the cards are shuffled. Now, one of the most important things I want you to notice is there's a lot of dead time in this routine. There's a lot of times where people are shuffling cards or cards are being picked, where there's a lot of dead time. But I want you to notice that I fill it with patter and presentation the entire time. Lots of jokes, lots of off-the-cuff remarks, just to try and keep things moving and keep things entertaining. Now, also notice that I get the kid to help me. And the reason is, when I started this, the kid was like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I didn't want her to be involved in one of the selections of the card, but I knew she'd be disappointed, and I knew she'd be, maybe even potentially be a bit naughty if she wasn't involved. So I made her my glamorous assistant, and basically she's the person that I'm handing the cards to, which is somebody that I would use someone to hand the cards to anyway, but it's nice to get her involved. And you'll notice during the performance a couple of times, she's like, I can't see the cards. Don't worry, you don't need to. You're my glamorous assistant. That's how you deal with a kid at a gig like this. Get them involved in the trick. Now, back to the selection procedure. You can see, and if you watch this back again with sound, you'll hear that I'm constantly telling jokes, and that's my style. And I suppose the important thing is you want to make sure that you're aware of your style, you're aware of how you'll perform the entire time. You'll notice I take the mick out of people having no hair and blah 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 and whatever it may be. It's again, that's just my style, and I think the most important thing here to note is that I'm making this whole selection procedure more entertaining than it actually is if I was there just going, pick a card, because that would kind of be really boring. Now, the other thing notice is that I'm using a riffle force. I'm basically using 5 riffle forces to do this. The riffle force allows me to force the 5 cards, and also it allows me to keep them in order. So by doing 5 riffle forces and just riffling a card off between each riffle force, I'm controlling the cards very, very easily. And as well as controlling the cards very, very easily, I'm also forcing the 5 cards in the order in which I want them to be forced. So now I've set the premise. I've told them what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the 5 cards. And I know there's a rule in Magic, don't tell the audience what's going to happen beforehand, which is a viable argument. Here, I want them to understand the impossibility of what I'm doing. And because I want them to understand the impossibility, I'm pointing out, hey, there's 5 cards that you're going to pick, and I'm going to find all 5 cards. Now, I tend to jazz the revelations, so it's never the same routine twice. It's just how I feel. But the important thing about a revelation is it must build. With multiple selection, each phase must be better. Now, notice there, I did a top change of the first person's card to the second person's card. And it was done on the offbeat. People say, how do you do a top change? What's the technique? The technique isn't important. It's focusing their attention away from what you're doing. Literally, when I do a top change, I could sneak in a herd of elephants because nobody is looking at what I'm doing, if that kind of makes sense. And again, there I am, getting the kid involved, keeping the audience's attention, lots of little magical moments, and I think you have to be prepared to deviate when you're doing a routine like this or any close-up routine. You need to be able to deviate away in a different direction. So we've now got 2 cards down. I'm kind of thinking what's going to happen here, and so here you'll notice that I'm going to be doing a a shapeshifter change or a twirl change in order to get the third card. Now, notice I could just go, look, I'm going to take one card out, and it changes into your card. But notice I'm building the theatre of it up. I'm making it more entertaining. And remember, we're entertainers. We are hired at this sort of event to entertain. If you go in and you're dry and you're boring, it's not going to be as interesting as if you're making the whole thing entertaining. So yes, a twirl change like that would have taken 5 seconds, but with all the banter and getting everyone involved and get everyone smiling and laughing, it's a far more entertaining experience. Now, the finale before we go into the tattoo reveal is the deck's going to vanish. And I do that all the time. I do that a lot, but not all the time. If I'm going to do a deck vanish, I'm going to do it. I need to prep for it. And what I mean by that is the revelation beforehand needs to give me time to ditch the deck in the pocket. So I do a sandwich routine and I do the revelation of the sandwich card. And you can see everybody's looking around. I draw their attention over to that person. I draw the attention over to the person. And you saw, I stood up for a split second. I ditched the deck. Now I'm holding one single card. But magicians are always in a rush at this point to reveal that the deck's gone. That time misdirection is important. This is why I'm saying to the guy, look, do you want it to go in 1, 2, or 3 seconds? What do you want to have happen? Now you can see the reaction. Everybody's freaking out. They think that's the end of the trick. You can see people, they're laughing, they're clapping, they're cheering, the entire deck's disappeared. That would be an effective end to the trick. But now we're going to go one step further. And I want to build up the impossibility of this. So there's about a 30-second sort of presentational pause before I reveal the tattoo. And I've had magicians say to me in the past, are you worried that people are going to see the tattoo? Nobody ever does. Nobody ever clocks that at all. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that you go and get a tattoo yourself to do this trick. That'd be ridiculous. But what I want you to notice, and again, I'm bringing the little girl back into this at this point. You could just have a photo of the 5 cards that you gave out at the very, very beginning. You could have it on your Instagram, and you could have someone open up their Instagram. There's so many different things that you could do. But I'm building up the impossibility of it. I've got the little girl involved in the trick. She's involved in the whole thing. I'm building up the impossibility. And also notice I'm not standing up. Everyone is sitting down. So I'm sitting down. I'm kind of almost trying to mirror match how the audience are. This is a very laid back gig. This isn't like a posh corporate do or anything like that. And then we get the 5 card reveal. The people go crazy. And that's the big finale. And that's the moment where everybody freaks out. So there you go. That's basically watching that performance should help you understand the importance of building up an audience reaction.
So you guys know that I love commercial close-up magic. Although I perform on Instagram and social media and TikTok, for me, my favourite type of magic is when I see something that's super commercial that I know I can do in the real world and get great reactions. And I've been performing Warning by Costa Kimlet for a very long time, ever since Costa brought it out himself. And I don't see enough people talking about it. And it's such a shame because it is one of the most commercial routines I know. And if you're not doing this and you go and gig, I have no idea why not. This is absolutely brilliant, and it makes an awesome opener as well. So Prop Dog actually have the rights to this now. They produce these in packs of I think 20 or 50 or 100 or 250. And what it is basically is it's a trick with a lighter. Now you don't get the lighter, you get the label that you stick on the lighter. So you can buy any Bic lighter, you take the label that's off there and you stick one of these labels on and you're ready to go anytime, anywhere. Now you are going to get something else, which you'll see in a minute, and you're going to use one of these every performance. Now I have literally used this 20 or 30 times in a night in the past. This is incredible because it just sits in your pocket, the gimmicks sit in your other pocket, you bring it out, you're good to go. It's so good. Let me actually just show you what the trick is very, very quickly, just so in case you haven't seen Warning, you know what it is. The whole idea is that I bring a lighter out and you can have it examined. It's nice if you carry a lighter around with you anyway. So if you're going to carry a lighter around with you anyway to do something else, this is a great visual thing that you can do, as well. So it doesn't take up any extra pocket space. Anyway, you bring out a lighter, you can have it examined, and you point out the warning label on there, and you say, I'm going to do something with the warning label. I'm going to take the warning label off. Just leaving the lighter, and the idea is to try and get the warning label back on the lighter. Let me see if I can do this. You've got to keep one eye on the warning label, you've got to keep one eye on the lighter, you've got to keep one eye on me. Let me see if I can do this. Watch, if I just light the lighter And there you go, check that out right there. Back on the lighter, we actually have the warning label, and you can examine that. And that's what it is. So what you get in the pack, you get flash paper that has been specially printed and designed so that you've got strips of these warning labels, and you just cut them out. So you can have this in your pocket and you're good to go. Now, there's a couple of different ways of doing this, just so you're aware. I see a lot of people getting a little bit of magician's wax and having the warning label, the flash paper warning label on one side. I don't like doing that. I've never got along with it. So how I do it is I just bring out the lighter like this. I can have it examined, and I have, as they're examining it, I grab one of the pieces of flash paper in my hand, and I just kind of do a paddle move as I pull it off, which works for me. It absolutely, completely and totally works for me. It might just look, oh, how come you can pull it off that easily? And that's absolutely a really true thing to say, but I've never had anyone say that. I've never had anyone say, hang on a minute, how were you able to pull that label off so quickly? I've played in the past, to be honest, of saying, look, I can make that label jump from here to here, and then doing a paddle move, and then making it go back on that way, which works really well. It's totally up to you. If you want to actually be seen to pull it off, you can use a bit of magician's wax, and you can show it and you can pull it off, do a paddle move, and then you can throw it back on there. There's lots of different options. But it is a super commercial trick. One thing that I like to do on the 5x5s is highlight stuff that you have maybe not seen before because they've been around for a while. And it's like I say, there's so much new stuff coming out at the moment. People forget the stuff that's already out that is absolute killer. And this is absolute killer. So you can get these from Prop Dog. They do ship worldwide. And you get a whole bunch of these little stickers. And then you get a load of the flash paper refills. I will warn you. Warn you. Get that? I will warn you that when you start doing this, you will want to buy tons of these over and over again, because they are the reactions you get is almost too good. Like, considering all you're doing is a paddle move and lighting a piece of flash paper, that's all you're doing. The reactions are just through the roof. They really are. And the nice thing about it is, if we're giving it a review, it's an instant reset. You just put this back into your pocket, and when you put it back into your pocket, you reset. You just have enough pieces of flash paper to last you a night. If you wanted to use the wax, you just stick another little piece on in the thing. It's examinable beforehand. It's examinable afterwards. It's an organic prop. It looks super visual. It plays to a big crowd, but it's also the sort of thing that you can do mix and mingle. There's no table required. It's different. It's not a card trick. It's not a coin trick. And if you're going to carry a lighter around with you anyway, why would you not have that lighter prepped to do a really killer, cool commercial trick? So you can get them from Prop Dog. Go and visit Prop Dog for them. I would give them 100%. It's highly recommended, and that is Costa Kimlet warning, which you can get from Prop Dog. So it's time for another deck review. Thank you for everybody that's been giving me feedback about these deck reviews. I'm really glad you like them. And today I'm going to be looking at the abandoned playing cards. Apparently these are endorsed by Dynamo, or used by Dynamo, or created by Dynamo, or something like that. These are not cheap. I'll tell you that right now. They're not cheap. They are, well, I mean, I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer so you can see them in a minute. But they're very well made. I mean, they feel absolutely fantastic. They're a little bit like the 1914 deck in terms of the thickness. And I actually prefer a thicker playing card than a thinner playing card. I don't know about you guys. I do like cohort decks, and they're quite thin, but generally as a rule, especially if I'm doing strike doubles or hit doubles, I prefer a thick card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera in a bit closer so you guys can have a look at exactly what it is that you get if you buy yourself one of these decks. So first of all, I absolutely love the box. I love the blue and gold colour. Here's a sneak preview of the backs of the cards, because the back of the card box is the same as the back of the cards. And I actually prefer that. When I'm using a bicycle deck, I prefer using the bicycle deck. Is it the 502 deck or something? I prefer it when the back design of the deck is the same on the box, because it allows so many other things that you can't do if that's not the case. But anyway, so you open up, and you get a couple of advertising cards. This says abandoned playing cards. Many colours may be found, but only some are so profound that they exist but can't be seen unless on a portable magical realm. Ream the barrier. I have no idea. Whatever. You get this. You get this writing on this card, which is just weird. You then get a fish. I have no idea why you've got a fish, but you get a fish. Perhaps somebody can let me know that's really into deck collecting. Is there a particular reason for the fish? I have no idea, but you get a fish. Then you get a couple of jokers. I do like the jokers, to be honest. I think they're really cool. They're both keys, as you can see, same colours. I do like the way that the back design of the cards as well almost looks like it changes colour as you look at them. I think that's really cool. And then you've got the cards themselves. So the Ace of Spades, I very much like the design of the Ace of Spades. But then you've got the rest of the cards, which are relatively normal. You know, we look at some decks on the 5x5s when I'm reviewing decks, and there's something special about them. Not really the case here. The same sort of design. The picture cards have a very interesting colour to them. It's got almost, as I say, it almost looks like the cards are changing colour when you're changing the position of the card. It goes from like a gold colour to a yellow colour. It's a nice illusion. And that's the same on all of the court cards. The key thing is that these really feel very, very nice. I mean, I've talked about this, but they farrow straight out the box really well. As you can see, they farrow straight out the box really, really well, and they feel really nice. As I say, this thick card is my preferred favourite type of card. They feel really nice. They shuffle really nice. They waterfall and spring really nice. They farrow really nice. They're just a really well-made deck of cards. So there you go, guys. That's the abandoned playing cards. You know, when I do these deck reviews, I started doing deck reviews on the 5x5s because a lot of people ask me to look at some of the latest decks that are coming out. And I have grown to appreciate all of the speciality decks. I've said this on the channel before. I used to go, oh, what's the point? You know, what's the point in having all these speciality decks? I'm going to get the deck wrecked when I go out and perform. And that's still the case in many cases. But I have grown to appreciate these decks. So, for example, my deck of choice when performing now is the 1914 deck. The Providence deck, I absolutely love it. And I use them all the time. I have the cards signed. I have them, ripped up and Mercury card folded, and I just kind of accept the cost because I love using those cards. These are equally as good. They are more expensive than the Providence deck. I don't like them as much, but I do think they handle really well. I think they look very nice, and I think they'll create intrigue when you show them to a layperson. So there you go. If you want to get them, they're recommended. It's the abandoned deck, and you can get it from all good Magic dealers. So on Talk Magic, very, very soon, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have an interview with Eric Stevens. Now, anybody who's been a subscriber on this channel for any length of time will know that Eric Stevens brought out what I actually said was the download of the year in 2020. His colour sticks routine is something that I perform every single time I do walk around, mix and mingle. I absolutely love colour sticks. But he's done an awful lot more. He's written so many different books, and the guy is super clever. He really is. So I did an interview with him. It's a brilliant interview. It's going to be dropping soon on Talk Magic, but what I'm going to do is give you a sneak peek of that interview right now. So this is going to be coming up very, very soon. It's going to be dropping on Talk Magic very, very soon, so watch out for it. But here's a sneak peek of the Eric Stevens interview coming soon to Magic TV.
I was 13 when I created my first magic effect, and up until then I just learned from books and DVDs, mostly DVDs because I couldn't afford books at the time, and I got most of the DVDs as gifts, Christmas gifts or birthday gifts. And I was blown away by what people could do, by what people were doing, and I thought, I want to do that. I want to be able to say that I made that. I want to be able to get the reactions those people are getting. What I'm doing, it's okay, but it's not there. Fortunately, I had already spent a lot of time I wouldn't say creating, but making these little variants of things that I already knew because I thought it might be, I thought it might be fun. But I remember, and I will tell you this, you are actually not the reason that I created my first magic effect, but you were involved in it.
Oh wow, I didn't even know.
I remember seeing you do. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I recall you being involved with Fuse, the Jeff Price's DVD, Fuse.
Yes, I was the guy that sat down and explained it with Jeff, and we went through the different handling. Yeah.
So I love the torn and restored card block. I have a lot of work on it, but I was struggling trying to figure out how to create one that was piece by piece. I just didn't have the know-how yet. I didn't know what to do. But when I saw stuff like Fuse, where it was just a corner, I thought, that's small potatoes. I can handle that. I don't have to do piece by piece. Start with a corner, see where I go from there. And what I did was I created my very first effect called Imperfect, which you can find on Penguin. It's a torn and restored corner. And what makes it special for me is not just how good of an effect it is, because at risk of sounding like I'm bragging, which I'm not trying to, it's a really good effect. And it's also special because of the stipulations that I put on. I was 13 years old, and this was really stupid of me to do this, but I was like, all right, I want to be able to have any card selected, and I want to be able to have that corner marked or signed somehow, and I want to be able to tear it off and show both sides of the card, and then I want to be able to make the corner vanish, and then I want to be able to make the corner come back. Like, the stupid amount of stuff to try and load into this. And I said, I want to be able to do this without gimmicks. And I figured out how. And that's what it became. As a matter of fact, if it's okay with you, I can show it to you.
I'd love you to. Yeah, 100%.
All right. So it would be, you'd borrow a deck of cards. It really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna grab one that's nearby just because it's easy. So we'll just do this one because I like the way these look. So, do you have a favorite card?
Yeah, the Ace of Diamonds.
Ace of Diamonds should be in here. I think this is a full deck. There we go. Ace of Diamonds. All right. So every card has two indexes, a top and a bottom. Which would you prefer, the top or the bottom?
At the top.
The top, right here. If you'd said bottom, it would have been a trick question. Now, if you were here, I would have you initial this card. You're not here, so I'll have to just do it for you. But I do want you to see it so that you recognize it if you see it later.
Yeah.
Chafing a little bit. You can see CP.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm going to bend this corner back and forth.
Okay.
And the more I bend it, the easier it becomes to bend. And the easier it becomes to bend, the cleaner the crease gets. And the cleaner the crease gets, the simpler it will become to tear this off. And that's exactly what I intend on doing. I want you to see. There it is.
Yeah.
It's still there. Nobody ever believes them. You can actually hear it and see it as it gets torn off. Now, I'm going to wave the card over. This. Just take a moment. Disappear. All that you're left with is the card. Now, there's nothing in my hands, Craig. There's nothing in my hands. There's nothing on this side. There's nothing on that side either. It's just gone. But it's not too far gone. It's just in the air. Well, toss it up. It comes back. And you can see CP. You can see the exact spot where it restored itself. And that is imperfect.
That is absolutely brilliant.
So there you go, guys. That is another 5x5 in the bag. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the live performance footage and having the commentary track over the top. Do you want to see more of that on the future 5x5s? If you do, that's absolutely fine. This channel is guided by what you guys want and what you guys don't want. So please leave feedback. Even if I don't answer you, I read everything and we use this feedback to form the direction of the channel. Don't forget, I'm going to be back again tomorrow on Tuesday with shorts at 2 o'clock. 6 o'clock we're going to have a Magic Live, and at 9 o'clock I'm going to be back with a Talk Magic interview. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic night. My name's Craig from Magic TV.